What's up, guys? I'm nobody special. A lot of you have been asking me questions about my chicken coop. Well, here it is. Don't go judging just yet. It's a work in progress. But I'm not here to talk about chickens today. I want to talk to you about what I saw from JPMorgan this morning. Because, man, this market is a mess. And I put out a note last week saying that I thought this commodity exposure and all the warnings I've been seeing from the banks was going to cause trouble this week. And what I saw from JPMorgan this morning tells me that is exactly what's happening. But the market doesn't seem to see it. So what's going on? Well, before we talk about that, I got some work to do because I got to predator proof this thing before I can let my ladies out into it. So if you'll excuse me, I'll be right back. Give me a second. Man, I let myself go this winter. Hit the weight room, Campbell. Supposed to be a freaking firefighter, for crying out loud. Okay, let's talk. We're gonna get this thing out of here. All right. First of all, let me show you guys what I've been doing here. What I'm doing is I am predator proofing the edge around my run because I got foxes in this area, raccoons, all that kind of stuff, and they will dig right under the bottom. And I'm going to put this vinyl coated fencing underneath there. I got this stuff down here, nice heavy duty vinyl coated metal stuff. I'm actually going to bury that laying flat underneath here. Then I'm going to have another layer of it running up the walls here because my man Chris Taylor from Financial Fitness warned me that foxes will bite right through this chicken wire stuff. Appreciate the tip, Chris. Check out Financial Fitness if you got a second. I'll put a link down in the description below. He's been helping me out with ideas for my coop. And I've been digging all the way around this thing. You see this? Cutting that grass back all the way around the back there. And I still got 2 more sides to do. But I'm a little out of shape, so I'm going to take a minute and talk to you guys about what I see in the markets. I'm going to sit on this clump of grass. All right. So today we got JPMorgan reporting their earnings, and they were not good. I do not have the numbers right in front of me, but I know this. Expectations for JPMorgan were very, very low. And JPMorgan did not even meet those low expectations. So very bad earnings from JPMorgan. Now, what was driving those bad earnings? First of all, compressed net interest margins. All right, and I talked about that in my piece last week. With the inverted yield curve, longer term debt is lower interest rates, than the shorter term stuff. The shorter term interest rates are higher than the longer term stuff. Well, banks borrow short term and they lend long term, which means banks' borrowing costs has gone up, what they have to pay to us, and their lending costs have gone down. On top of that, mortgages and refis in the toilet. Nobody's borrowing for a house right now. I apologize if we're getting wind noise on the mics here. The other thing, just like I said, is commodities exposure. JPMorgan lost, it was somewhere over $100 million on that nickel fiasco with the LME a few weeks ago. Now, they dodged that bullet. They still lost over $100 million. It should have been $1 billion loss. We talked all about how JPMorgan just screwed retail investors with that nonsense. The other banks may not be so lucky. Now tomorrow we've got Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, US Bank Corp, Wells Fargo, PNC, all these banks reporting tomorrow. And if JPM is any indicator, we're going to get a lot of bad earnings news tomorrow. So what do we see from markets today? Stocks are up. Why not? 2 days in a row, stocks have been up, even though we got that monster CPI read yesterday, and then we got terrible earnings from JPMorgan today, and stocks are up. But you know what else? What else is going on? Gold and silver are up. Bond yields are down. And keep in mind, bond prices and bond yields are inversely correlated. So if bond yields are down, that means bond prices are up. You actually have a flight to safety going on in markets right now. People are fleeing into bonds, and they're fleeing into precious metals. Now, the stock market has not figured that out yet, and stock prices continue to go higher. That is not going to last. And if you doubt me, folks, in the last 2 days, I have sold more stock than at any point in my entire life up until now. 42 years old, I have never sold more stock than I sold in the last 2 days because I think we're there. All right, now, I've been saying for a while now 2.2% on the US 10-year was where something was going to break, all right? Obviously, that came and went, so I can't say I was right about that. But I've also been telling you guys that it wasn't a switch, it wasn't going to pop instantly when we hit that level. And I also mentioned that I'm usually early, right? I tend to be early, like the whole thing about markets can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. Well, I sold a lot of stock in the last few days. I've been raising cash really since the fall. Now, I've deployed a lot of that cash into energy and commodity trades, and in particular miners. We'll circle back to miners in a minute. But with what I saw in JPMorgan's earnings and what I see going on in commodity markets and what I expect is about to happen in banks, there is something really bad about to happen in markets. It feels very close. Again, full disclosure, not a financial advisor, not financial advice, all that CYMA stuff. Folks, it feels so close. And check out the chart of XLF when you have a chance. That is the financial sector spider ETF. Look at that death cross and the XLF that just happened today. Right as JPMorgan reports those bad numbers, right as all those banks are going to report tomorrow, right as this monster CPI print and this big PPI print today, stars are aligning for really bad things in the financial sector. Oh, and we had a massive, massive dumping of Commerzbank and Deutsche Bank over the last few days. We still haven't gotten confirmation of who it was. I've heard Capital Group, but I haven't seen that confirmed in the press. But somebody just sold the entirety of their 5% stake in Deutsche Bank and Commerzbank. The big guys are bailing out of the financial sector. What are they bailing into? Bonds and precious metals. That is a flight to safety, folks. All right, there's something bad happening in stocks, and I am putting my money where my mouth is. I have sold more stock than at any point in my entire life over these last few days. And lastly, I just want to mention something. Check out the charts in the gold and the silver miners. All right, it really, really looks like we are now officially out of that 1.5-year downtrend that started in the summer of 2020. And if that confirms, if we get a move in precious metals, any kind of volume to support that, oh boy, watch out, folks, because you know, we've got this fear trade going on. People are flooding into bonds and they're flooding into precious metals. Well, remember, bonds is debt, right? And we're in a rising rate environment right now. Debt is getting more expensive. What happens if we get a wave of corporate defaults? What happens if we get a wave of foreclosures? Cost of living is going up. Cost of doing business is going up. A lot of companies may be about to go bankrupt. A lot of people may be about to go bankrupt. Well, what does that do to all the debt in the bond market? Well, it goes belly up. Now, what happens if all this fear trade that's going on right now, people are piling into bonds, driving yields lower over these last few days? What happens if bonds is no longer a safe haven? Where does that money go? Gold and silver. I'm telling you, at some point, gold and silver will become unobtainium. Now, what am I doing out here? Jack, you're a nuclear engineer, for crying out loud. What are you doing? Chopping up grass and messing with chickens? Well, let me tell you this. I just saw a story the other day that truck drivers for Walmart will be getting paid $110,000 a year to start. That is to drive trucks for Walmart, 110 grand to start. I can tell you folks, me and my mechanical engineering degree, I have been working in nuclear power for more than 15 years now. And those entry-level truckers at Walmart will be making almost as much as I make at my day job. Almost. Not quite. I still got them by a little bit. But are you kidding me? An entry-level trucker and a nuclear engineer with 15 years of experience. What does that tell you about society's shifting values? I'm not talking about moral or ethical values. I'm talking about the skill set that society values. You know, I heard this from Joe Brown at Heresy Financial. He gave a fantastic talk at the Speak Freely event with Ninja Nation in Dallas a few weeks ago. And he was talking about how society is going to be rotating from sophisticated skills to basic skills in a hyperinflationary environment. And when I saw what they're paying entry-level truckers at Walmart, and then I saw my own paycheck, yeah, That's happening, folks. That is happening before our very eyes. So I am slowly but surely working on developing a little bit of basic skills for myself, something that might make me and my skill set a little more valuable in the days to come, because nuclear engineers are not nearly as in demand as truck drivers are, apparently. So that's one of the reasons why I'm out here doing what I'm doing. Part of that also has to do with my girls love it. They're having fun with the chicks and a little bit of self-sufficiency and everything. Anyways, before we go, I'm just going to give you guys a little peek inside the coop at the ladies here. I moved them in a few days ago. They still are not out in the run. I just have them acclimating to the coop. Don't run, girls. See if you guys can see what's going on in here. There are my ladies. All right, girls, you're superstars now. Get big and strong. I need lots of eggs. Oh, I got to refill your food. It is ridiculous how much food these birds eat when they're growing. My girls are getting big and strong. They're going to give me lots of eggs. All right, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, live small and dream big.